Welcome to Catholic News Roundup. I'm Christine Niles. Today's November 16th, 2025. Here are this week's top stories. Pope Leo will be generous towards the traditional Latin Mass. This according to reports from the Plenary Assembly of the Bishops' Conference of England and Wales, where Archbishop Miguel Mari Buendia, Papal Nuncio to Great Britain, revealed Pope Leo will grant dispensations to any bishop who requests the traditional Latin Mass in his diocese. While left-leaning America magazine was quick to note the pontiff is not abrogating Traditionis Custodes, Pope Francis's document restricting the ancient liturgy, Leo appears to be making it toothless. It remains to be seen whether he'll further ease restrictions in future years. In other church news, the Vatican has remained silent on the death of an underground Chinese bishop. Bishop Julius Zhiguo died October 29th at the age of 91. He was a leading figure in China's underground church, spending 15 years in prison for refusing to renounce his loyalty to the Holy See. His consistent refusal to join the communist-backed state church led to 10 arrests and detentions. He was head of the Diocese of Zhangding, an underground diocese that refuses to recognize the state-sanctioned church. The Vatican has yet to publicly acknowledge his death, even as Pope Leo has hinted at possibly changing his approach to the Vatican-China Accords after speaking with persecuted Chinese Catholics. In October, the Pope also met with the wife and daughter of Catholic activist Jimmy Lai, imprisoned for criticizing China's communist regime. The Napa Institute has announced a novena for Lai's release from November 15th through the 23rd, ending on the Feast of Christ the King. And in New York City, an openly gay celebrity confirmed in the Catholic Church. ABC News anchor Gio Benitez recently received the sacrament of confirmation at St. Paul the Apostle Church. His sponsor was his gay spouse. St. Paul is a notoriously pro-LGBT parish whose pastor, Father Eric Andrews, has celebrated Pride Mass in June. And in big Middle East news, the U.S. is backing a two-state solution in Palestine. On Friday, the U.S. signed on to a UN Security Council resolution, quote, which offers a pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood. The U.S. statement went on to note that, quote, the plan provides a viable path towards peace and stability, not only between the Israelis and the Palestinians, but for the entire region. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu responded Sunday.
ההתנגדות שלנו למדינה הפלסטינית בשטח כלשהו, מערב לירדן, ההתנגדות הזאת קיימת ושרירה, היא לא השתנתה כהוא זה.
Meanwhile, freezing rains have hit Gaza as residents spend their third winter without homes. The rains are flooding tents, soaking sleeping bags, and turning their floors into mud, while children seek shelter from the cold. Israel continues to restrict humanitarian aid, with the United Nations confirming it has enough shelter supplies for 1.3 million residents, but Israel is blocking delivery. In related news, 12 Israeli whistleblowers are confirming soldiers shot unarmed civilians. The bombshell report, titled Breaking Ranks Inside Israel's War, interviews a dozen soldiers of the Israel Defense Forces. A soldier named Daniel said, quote, if you want to shoot without restraint, you can. Another, Eli, said the rules for shooting are arbitrary. If they're walking too fast, they're suspicious. If they're walking too slow, they're suspicious. They're plotting something. If 3 men are walking and one of them lags behind, it's a 2-to-1 infantry formation. It's a military formation.
This isn't you saying this isn't what you've witnessed yourself. This is what soldiers, IDF soldiers, are telling you about their experience in the war.
Yes, every single bit of testimony is an IDF soldier talking about something that they've been through firsthand. You know, the allegations, in large part, the IDF kind of deny these things. They're saying they've kind of operated within international law, but these are people on the ground saying that, you know, at times they were involved in things they feel deeply uncomfortable with.
Breaking Ranks can be seen on YouTube. In political news, the head of the BBC is resigning after a deceptive editing scandal. After 5 years as Director General, Tim Davie stepped down alongside news chief Deborah Turness. The scandal involves splicing together 2 clips from President Trump's January 6th speech to make it falsely appear as if he were inciting a riot.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Now Trump is saying he will sue the BBC.
Going ahead and suing the BBC?
Well, I guess I have to. Why not? Because they defrauded the public, and they've admitted it, and they're top echelon.
Director General and the CEO
This
both
is
resigned.
within one of our great allies. This is supposedly our great ally, BBC. The government has a chunk of that one, I guess, but that's a pretty sad event. They actually changed my January 6th speech, which was a beautiful speech, which was a very calming speech, and they made it sound radical.
In Rome, Pope Leo greeted a heroic Albanian cardinal tortured for his faith. On Wednesday, the pontiff met the 97-year-old Cardinal Ernest Simoni, sentenced by communists to 28 years of prison and hard labor for refusing to renounce his faith. Subjected to torture, Simoni held fast to his faith, secretly offering Mass and hearing confessions of fellow prisoners. He attended Cardinal Raymond Burke's traditional Latin Mass, offered in St. Peter's Basilica last month, where Simoni recited an exorcism prayer written by Pope Leo XIII. And a historic first. The United States will be consecrated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. The bishops voted in favor of the consecration, which will take place during the country's 250th anniversary next year. Archbishop Kevin Rhodes made the proposal.
We propose that this body of bishops consecrate the United States to the Sacred Heart of Jesus at the June 2026 Assembly, which ends on the solemnity of the Sacred Heart. To help Catholics prepare for the consecration, we would develop prayer resources, including a novena that will lead up to the solemnity of the Sacred Heart.
The vote was 215 in favor and 8 against. Some Catholics are openly wondering why 8 bishops would vote against the consecration. That is this week's Catholic News Roundup. Please go to stellamars.media to sign up for our email list for the latest news and updates. It is always free. That's stellamars.media. If you appreciate our work, please consider a small donation. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless your week. I'm Christine Niles.